And creating, again, it's new demand. We hear it all the time when we talk to a business. Oh yeah, I've got this financial advisor. He's got a couple $1,000,000. Do you think I'm going to give him the $40 million when I sell this business? No, that's my serious money. I'm not going to do that. That's what I call the new demand. That's someone who really is not as engaged in the investment world, in the traditional Wall Street world and all these firms. He has been in control of his life, and he knows his best returns come from his business, and he really doesn't know how to transition, and he's got all kinds of issues as it relates to whether it's employees or management or families, or how's he going to do this, if he's going to do this, because a lot of times it's a lifestyle business. So there's a whole area of new demand that's available. So everybody's talking about it the same way as everybody used to talk about money management, but really didn't understand it well. And everybody talks about planning and maybe they're not really delivering it. It's the same story with this business transition. The number one thing that you need to be able to do is learn how to be a family advisor. You really have to help Gen 1 understand the different capitals. There are 5 different capitals. There's financial capital, which is where we all live, but there's intellectual capital, there's social capital, there's human capital, and there's spiritual capital. And when you talk with a family and you want to engage the next gen, you first have to help Gen 1 recognize that they created all the financial capital. They certainly have intellectual, social, human, and spiritual capital. But if you want to engage the next gen, you've got to be able to help the next gen recognize how they have had an impact on their financial, intellectual, social, human, and spiritual capital. Because then you can get not a level playing field, but you can open up the communication so that the family unit can start to have a conversation. And if you are the one that's guiding that conversation, then obviously the next gen is going to start to look at you differently than the way they look at you now. Because the way they look at you now is, oh, you're my parents' financial advisor. Great. I'm going to go get my own. Everyone understands investment, but what's planning? We have defined planning as wealth expansion. We have defined planning as transition planning, which is estate planning, protection planning, and charitable giving. So when you start having that conversation with Gen 1, it leads to really important conversation about Gen 2. It opens up a whole world, and there's a lot of concerns, certainly amongst the clients that you would consider high net worth or even ultra high net worth, where they're very concerned about the amount of money that they're going to leave to next gen. And so by utilizing family advisory, you can help Gen 1 establish some ground rules to be able to have really valuable family conversations and discussions, and give them the tools so that they can have those. Create mission statements, value statements to talk about that. Help them, because Gen 1 doesn't really understand the 5 capitals either. They understand the financial. When you start talking about intellectual capital, which is defined as your wisdom and your experience, oh yeah, well, maybe I should start talking to my children at any age about some of the things I learned while I was getting to this success. My unique ability wasn't in doing all the investment management. My unique ability was not in getting someone to show up to even entertain a story from us. So what I had to do is I had to go find other people who had those unique abilities, and then I built a unique ability team that delivers that wow client experience. So the first thing I would do is say, go out there, look at everything. And the simple story is this. Let's assume this weekend you have total amnesia. You have to come back on Monday morning and you can only pick one thing. When I say this, people think of it as one activity. Think about it in a more general sense. Pick one thing that you want to take back immediately? What is it? That's going to give you a clue as to what your unique ability is. The other clue about what your unique ability is it energizes you. So an easy way to determine what your unique ability is to identify all those things that aren't.